All right, welcome to our coaching chat. We are starting the year off strong, and I am pumped and excited about what we're going to talk about today. But first, I've got to go back and pull up what I want to talk about. Okay, here we go. Well, guys, I'm having a hard time finding the screenshot that I want to show you all. Sorry.
Take your time. We'll stay with you.
Thanks, Doc. I'm glad you're cutting me some slack here today. All right, there we go. Okay, if you guys aren't using, we have our Team Extreme Facebook page, or not Facebook page, but our website. If you guys haven't gotten in there and really dug in, what our website is really designed to help a brand new distributor. So if you're bringing on brand new distributors, hopefully you've watched some of our past videos and know that these first 4 boxes, it's Team Extreme right here. You can see teamextreme.dropmark.com. And I'm going to challenge you guys to really see what's here. These first 4 boxes are to help your new distributors or partners that you bring on to really walk them through on how to get started and set up as a new distributor. So I'm going to challenge you guys, if you're not utilizing this website, we've tried to keep it really simple and straightforward so you're not overwhelmed. And so what we're going to talk about on all the new information is under the game plan and then under fast track. So all this information is just kind of here all together. And so I'm going to encourage you guys to spend some time after the call and, get in here and really kind of roll up your sleeves and see what's here, because it is designed to help you and especially the new people that you bring onto your team. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to start with this very first worksheet. And I love that Don Rassman put this worksheet together to really help us be good coaches. And that's what we are as Upline, as we bring on people, is we want to be able to coach them so that they have every opportunity they can to be successful. And so I want to challenge you guys to print these forms out. And I have mine here that I just print and I've got handy so that I can look at and keep refreshing my mind. And so that I'm going to sign up a new gal this afternoon, and I want to make sure that I give her every opportunity so she knows exactly what she needs to do. So here's a couple things before we dive in. I just want to kind of take everyone's, just any anxiety. Anytime things change, there's a little bit of anxiety that comes along with change. But I also want to say that with change comes momentum. And so I don't want you thinking, oh my gosh, all these changes, and getting anxiety and thinking, oh my gosh, this old dog's too old to learn new tricks. I'm here to tell you that when I walk through this, what you're going to realize is it's not really changed that much. The numbers have changed, but when I kind of give you the formula, you'll see, okay, not much has changed, with the exception of, if you can kind of think of just pretty much all the numbers have been doubled. So it's the same. So we're going to start here with Partner Plus. Let's just say I see Tish's beautiful face. A lot of you had to go away because just from a screen standpoint, I'm only seeing Tish's face. So do not leave me, Tish, because that's who I'm talking to. So Tish is my new distributor. And she is, we're switching over from distributor to partner. So correct me if I'm saying something else. But Tish is my new partner. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to walk Tish through the first couple of levels and show her what I want her to, what she needs to do to really move forward. Tish is excited. She wants to move forward in this business, so I want to walk her through. So the Partner Plus level would be the old direct distributor level. And so, you know, with the old level, as a direct distributor, someone would need 500 points. And so if you think kind of back to what I said, if you double everything, that's what those numbers, we're seeing all new numbers and it can be a little overwhelming. But if you think about it, everything's just doubled. So instead of it being 500, it's 1,000. Now you're probably sitting there saying, okay, why on earth would they even bother doing that? Well, there's some great intention of why we got all these changes. One is they really wanted to simplify. Now the conversion process and moving into all these new numbers isn't always simple, but what they wanted to do is get rid of you guys used to hear us talk about PVC. And that was 75% of what it would cost to your purchase cost. And it was so confusing to people that they thought if we only work in the price versus the PVC numbers, we've just eliminated a whole lot. So everything's going to be based on price versus PVC. So now you're going to see PPV, which is purchase product volume, or excuse me, yeah, purchase price volume, I think is what it is, or price, I'm sorry, PPC. It is our
Promotional
product price volume, excuse me. So everything is based on the cost of that particular product. And so instead of 500 to hit DD, it's 1,000 to hit partner. And then from a standpoint of a customer standpoint, you know, they've lessened those numbers. So now instead of having to have 3 new customers, you only have to have 2, and 1 can be yourself. And so they've kind of loosened up some of the old requirements that they used to have. But we still need to, you know, that way, let's just say if you got a husband and a wife, you know, prior to that, it would be, you know, based on a household. Now it's just straight customers, so we can utilize both. I'm seeing Doc and his beautiful wife on my screen there. So if both of them decided that they wanted Juice Plus, you would get to count both of them, even though they're in the same household. So they've lessened the household rules for us. So now it's just 1 customer and including yourself. So here's an example of what it might look like. They've given us 3 examples to hit that 1,000 number. So the product price volume for a trio now, the cost is $420. So that's the points we deal with. And so your sales profit will be $42. And so if you had 2 trio customers and 1 quad customer, that's going to put you at 1,020 points. So it's not really that much different than what we had to do prior to get the 500. It's now because we're using the total price. It's what's required for us to hit these goals are pretty much the same. So what you see here is that example one duo and 3 trio, or 2 trios and 1 duo will get you to that 1,000 mark and get someone to the old direct distributor level, or what we call Partner Plus. Another example would be 3 trios and some complete. And so we just done away with the PVC and we're working directly with the price of the product. So a trio is $300. The Omega is $120. So that's where you get the 420 or the 300. And then you see the sales profit of $30 off of the trio, 14 off of the complete. And so you can see now too, they've upped the from what we get to include in regard to a tower garden. If someone bought a tower garden, then you're looking at the products would be much, wouldn't require as many of the products. So, what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is to look at the new, and I'll show you here, is just to, take some time and really look at the new prices, which you can see here. It's right here. You print this out. I actually have this printed out, and you can see that our fruit and vegetable berry and the trio now is the product volume is $300, and everything's calculated off that. The fruit and vegetable is $200. So their goal was to simplify. So it's a lot easier to remember. A trio is $300. An omega, is going to be $300 plus $120. So there's your $420. So we've just eliminated all of the PVC and the confusion that can easily come with that. And so as you can see, back to what I was just sharing with you, what it takes to hit the different levels is pretty much the same. It's not that much different. It just looks a little different because we're not used to those new numbers. I'm going to get us back here to what we were looking at before. So that's if I were you, with every new distributor that you bring on, is literally when I walk this new gal through, I'm gonna do it on here, and I'm just gonna show her, here's what we need. This is the goal in 30 days. One thing that has changed is everything's on a calendar month. And so, when you start somebody, so this gal's gonna sign up, in the beginning, it's gonna kind of shorten her time frame since we're signing her up on today is the 6th, but sometimes, they have lightened the load from getting X amount of customers, so that makes it a little easier. And the other thing we want to do is really teach people it's not just a matter of, oh my gosh, just get this amount of product so that you hit a goal. What we're trying to do is really train people to build a customer base. And so, that's the focus. And so sometimes urgency will cause somebody actually to work even faster. So there's some, at a first glance, you think, oh my gosh, then I'm just going to hold off and wait for someone to start, the 1st of next month, which you can. But at the same time, I think what we want to help them do is just to really begin building that customer base from the get-go, and not just worrying about hitting a level and then quitting. But this is a matter of really getting into that groove of talking to them about building a strong customer base. So this is the first worksheet to get someone to Partner Plus or the old direct distributor. And then we're going to walk through, and then we're going to open it up. And we're going to walk through the second level, which would be the old virtual franchise. And now we're calling it the qualifying sales coordinator. And so if you think about it, we're just qualifying that step before sales coordinator. And so here, if I've got someone who's already hit, let's just say in December, they already hit Partner Plus. And so January, what I would do is then begin walking them through this process of, here's what we have to do in the month of January for you to hit that second level, which used to be called the virtual franchisee, is now qualifying sales coordinator. And so what they're going for is 4,000 promotional product volume. There it is, promotional product volume. And when you see promotional product volume, that promotional means that it's the full amount. So it's not talking in terms of the installment our old PVC amount or product volume amount, but promotional means the entire amount. So, you know, the old way going to VF, it would be 2,000 points. So now it's 4,000. It's just doubled, but it's actually pretty much the same number. It's now, though, the number we're using to calculate the PPV or the promotional product volume is much greater now because we're using 100% of the price versus 75% of the old PVC value. And so I'm going to walk you down. We're going to kind of skip down through here so you can see. So it used to be, you know, if you remember, 12 trios would produce 1,000 points, the points that we needed to 2,000 points, excuse me, to hit the VF level. So now it's 4,000 and it's actually 14 trios. So we're only talking 2 more trios than what we're used to. It just looks like 2,000 is twice as much, but it's truly not because we are calculating it on the price versus the old PVC number. And so here's a really good thing that they're giving us, because you're like, well, Elaine, it's still 2 more trios than what we're used to. They're giving us the entire year of, well, excuse me, let me finish this and then I'll kind of move on to qualifying. So here what they did is they did a great job of really breaking it down so people can see how much money they're going to make in those first 2 months of hitting qualifying sales coordinator or the old VF level. And so what you see here is in sales profit, they'd make $390. And then with each month, you know, that first month, they're not earning a commission yet. If you remember, that's nothing new. That's what it's been in the past. So that first month being a partner, you're not making a commission. But once you get promoted to Partner Plus, then that second month, you pick up a 5%. And so what they're doing here is they're showing you the commission that you're receiving over the first 4 months. And then that 5th month that they're showing you that would be the second month you're in the business, the new people that you may bring on. Then you get bumped up into this 10% range. And if you're sitting there saying, well, the old way I was making a higher percentage, but I want to keep going back to saying, you know, now it's based on the price versus the PVC number. So our number is a lot larger. And so when these numbers are calculated, they're coming back in pretty much to what we're used to from an income standpoint. It's not a whole lot of change. So here's, if you're trying to hit the second goal from trios, you need 14. If you're trying to hit it from a quad, you need 10. So if I'm talking to someone, you know, what I'm going to do is, you know, help them begin to, you know, use this form to list as they bring on customers. And let's say they bring on 10 quads, then they've hit their goal. So that 4,000 is, you know, back to, it's very similar to what we're used to. We're just not used to seeing the 4,000 number. We're used to seeing the 2,000 number. At least 1,000 of the promotional product volume has to come from you and your customers. So what they don't want to happen is, let's just say you bring on 2 or 3 distributors and you personally aren't building your own customers, because as we promote people on up through the commission or our compensation plan, if we ourselves don't have a strong customer base, then, you know, we're going to find ourselves out of qualification. And what we want to do is personally have a strong customer base as we bring on distributors in tandem. Only 1,500 though of that promotional product volume can come from our own household. So what they don't want is for us to buy a whole bunch of product, because again, what they're wanting us to do is build that strong customer base. And then the next thing is same that we were used to, is having that brand new distributor within that first 2-month time frame. You know, if we were going to virtual franchisee, the same thing is true. Nothing's changed there. We just need another distributor who has at least one order. And so, and then and then it used to be a much higher number, like we had to have 8 preferred customers. So they lessened that, and now it's just 5 preferred customers. So if you have customers who are getting a duo, what we found is if we get customers who are on all 4 products, they're going to get more results. And so we want people to, so now it's, we want to, they're not going to require as many customers, so your customers can have more products and still help you hit your goal. So they've lessened the number of preferred customers. So here, now, one thing also, if we wanted, you could bring on 3 people direct to you, and within those first 2 months, and everything they do will help you hit this 4,000 promotional product volume. So you can do it yourself and you've just quickly built a lot of customers, or you can bring on distributors and they're going to help you quickly get to that 4,000 promotional product volume. And you can, I think this is good that they've got it mapped out so you can see the amount of money that you can make. And I think that's really going to be encouraging to a brand new distributor. So I'm going to stop here. If we have time, we'll go to the sales coordinator level, but I know I've thrown out a lot of stuff and it may have been confusing, or maybe you have questions. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing. I guess the main thing is what I wanted you guys to really hear is what we're used to. That process that we're used to has not changed really much at all. The numbers have changed, but the actual process in what we're used to is pretty much the same that it has been. And so I just want to kind of eliminate, I think sometimes when we see all these new numbers and they're so much bigger, it's like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can hit it, or there's no way I can get a new person there. And I'm here to tell you, not a whole lot has changed from the process that we go through to really helping a new distributor hit their goals. So I'm going to stop right now and see if you guys have any questions.
Okay. So go ahead, Jane.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, so the 4,000 to get to QSC, which is the VF, but the new, it's not a 60-day window anymore.
It's 2 months. It's a calendar month.
So if someone starts mid-December, they have until the end of January to hit that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I know that does seem like, wow, that, you know, that does put a spin on things. And that is one thing that's different. But here's, you know, so it kind of like, oh, shoot, that's kind of, you know, going to make it harder. Here's what's going to make it easier is, let's just say somebody, let's just say you were a distributor, you were a customer prior to signing up mid-December. And in the past, if our order happened to ship in our new 60-day window as a new distributor, we would not count that. Now, if we have repeat customers, let's say someone went through their order really quickly and they placed another order within that 2-month window, you get it counted. So if your order reshipped, so we got some benefit. It was a little bit of a drawback going to a calendar month, but we also picked up the benefit that we get to count our own order if we've been a customer before, or if somebody's order reships in that 2-month calendar window.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be 4,000 of new.
Correct. So that is the benefit of switching. They just made it easier, and I think you guys know trying to do that 60-day was really kind of crazy. So they switched it to the calendar month, but they gave us that added benefit to hopefully offset. Jane, what was your question?
Well, mine is kind of similar, but why would someone sign up, say, the 20th or after in a month? Why wouldn't you make them wait, but then you risk losing them or their momentum?
Yeah. And, sometimes in that, believe me, on the NMD chat where these questions have been batted around a lot. And I think too, when you tell somebody, it's almost like when you're like, okay, we've got 10 days. We need to get 3 customers in 10, days or whatever. People do what we inspire them to do. They really do. And so I think how we approach it, if you wanted to say, hey, use the next 10 days, we're going to sign you up on February 1st. Go ahead and use the next 10 days to do X, Y, Z. You could definitely do that. But sometimes I've also seen, we all know most people, if they really wanted to, could roll up their sleeves and do it pretty quickly.
Elaine, I thought that the first 30 days was not the calendar month. It didn't turn to calendar month until the next 30 days. Am I wrong?
I have not heard that, Marie. Is that what you're here? Where'd you read that?
That's what my understanding was from conference. We were at conference and they talked about it. I thought that the first 30 days, you still had 30 days, but then starting in that second month, it went to a calendar month to make it easier. And maybe I misunderstood.
Interesting.
I don't think so, but you know what? I'm learning right along with y'all.
I know it's new to all of us, but that's why I'm confused, because like I said, I thought at conference they had said, you still have that first 30 days, but then after that it turns into a calendar month.
I was just going to see if I see this on here. Well, we will double check. Thank you, Marie, for saying that. I will definitely double check that. And let's see.
I could be wrong. Maybe I misunderstood. That was.
If that is true, if it is a calendar month, that's going to hurt the second goal, because say you come in mid-month and you've got to next mid-month, then you've only got probably 2 weeks to hit your second goal.
Well, yes and no, because you still have 45 days. Then you're only taking 2 weeks out at that point. So 45 instead of 60 days. It's not as big of a hit as 10 to 30.
I understand that, because if you hit your first goal mid-month, say January 15th, well, if it's calendar month, your second goal will have to be at the end of January.
That's correct. That's my understanding.
So that would be only 2 weeks to hit your second goal.
Brenda just said.
Or just typed in and said no. What I said is correct. It is calendar. So,
I have a question.
Yes.
If you sign up a distributor, does the 30 days start immediately or when they place their first order?
Good question.
The first order.
First order. Okay. So that hasn't went away. Perfect.
No, right. Brenda, anybody who, if I'm giving something wrong, let me know. But my understanding is it is back to when you place the order, that's when it starts. But it really almost doesn't quite matter now because it's calendar month. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I was just thinking, like, if someone on January the 28th is ready to start and they want to jump in, I mean, that's 3 days to get the orders in, instead of saying, all right, let's put your order in February the 1st and let's roll with it.
I agree.
And that way, when they're ready to sign up, sign them up.
Right.
I think it's a 30-day window, isn't it? Not a calendar?
No, they've switched it so that we're not trying to track all these
Days.
from this point to this point. It got, I think, a little hairy, so that everything went to a calendar month.
No, I think that's a good thing.
Can you still have restarts like you have in the past?
Yes, and actually, and I'm trying to remember some of those conversations that, you know, the restart could be, let's just say someone does, let's just say they do their, maybe they start mid-month and they do their Partner Plus, but then the second month they miss it and they don't get their, the QSC position. They miss it.
That's correct.
Let's just say 2 months later, they said, okay, I'm going to go after it again, and I'm going to do it in March and April. Now, here's the nice thing. Let's just say they picked up, let's just say they got a lot of customers and they missed it. Well, those orders are going to come up again, and they'll get benefit for those. Do you see what I'm saying? So even though it is kind of a downfall, if it's actually a really good thing if you do miss it, you got a better deal because you're going to have those customers hitting again in, 4 months. Did that make sense?
And could they order early so you could make sure they get it instead of every 4 months?
They could.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and put it in now for 2 months?
Yeah, they could. So even though there is a bit of a downfall switching to the calendar, they have kind of given us thrown us a bone to say, hey, we get it, but here's the benefit, here's an additional benefit you get. I think they just needed it. I can only imagine the nightmare trying to calculate all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully that, I think we'll find, anytime something's new, it's a little bit daunting or, oh my gosh, or can easily, we can have almost kind of like a negative spin on it. So I'm going to challenge you guys we can look at all these changes as, oh my gosh, these are changes. I don't know if I want to go through them. It's going to be too hard. I don't, blah, blah, blah. Or we can look at it anytime something new comes about, it brings momentum. So the question is, do we want to look at it from a negative, or this is going to bring momentum and excitement that we've got a lot of great things coming down the pike. Let's embrace that momentum and let's run with it. And I think you're going to find not a whole lot has changed. A few things like the calendar month, and the fact that we get to reuse our points, if whatever comes through during that qualifying time. But as a whole, the way it's been calculated in the past, it's not a whole lot has changed. So let me stop talking and see what other questions you guys may have. But one more thing, I'm just going to say use these forms, because it's like when you sit back down and use them to help you calculate it, it's like, okay, I get it, because it's easily, we've got the old way in our head. But these forms that Don Rathman put together are really good, and it will help you work through them. Questions? Any more questions?
I have one. I hate to. So say you have a customer for 6 months, and then they decide they want to be a distributor, and they happen to have a children's health study, and it's due for it to come out. Will they get full points for that?
That is my understanding. Yes. Let me see.
So instead of getting just an installment like they used to, it'll count towards your goal, right? And full points.
That is my understanding. Yes. Brenda, you got, if anyone here's anything different, but my understanding that is correct. Yes, Brenda says yes, reships count. So I'm telling you correctly.
It counts as full value, not just an installment, right?
Right. The what they call promotional product volume. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Do reships count not if they are signing up
as a distributor, but if they are restarting, all their existing customers that reship count for their promotional.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But that would only count as installments though, right? In that case she's talking about?
I think no, I think they count. I will double check, but I am pretty sure it counts from a promotional standpoint.
Well, then that's so much better.
I agree. So I mean, I think, yeah, Brenda's saying yes, she believes, she's pretty sure too it's a full amount. So I guess what I'm here to say is they recognize switching to a calendar, you know, could be looked at as a negative, but they balanced it out, I think, with this ability to count your reships. Most definitely. Actually, I think it's for the better, to be honest. So anyway, and that's truly what I've found through all these changes is they really, because you had a group of national marketing directors up there walking them through, and I think they really tried to have our back. The changes needed to happen. You know, to be honest, when you hear of other network marketing companies, we haven't had much change when it comes to our compensation plan like most companies have. And so I think they really did try to have our back. It needed to happen. We needed to get rid of that PVC. It was too confusing. And so anytime there's change, it's hard. But I think what we've switched to is going to be good, and I think we're all going to really like it. It's just painful in the process, but you just know you had some national marketing directors up there thinking through it all as they made these changes, saying, okay, let's try to, if we're going to take this away, we're going to give them this to balance it out. Other questions? And Jane, yes.
Okay, what if you have an existing customer and they sign up as a distributor and they're in month 3 of their installment plan? Who gets the installment money? Does a new distributor get it? And does it count toward their new goal? Not a new shipment.
Well, if they're in month 3 and
Yeah.
the 2-month time frame of them going to qualifying sales coordinator, it'll ship again. So their upline would finish off.
Okay.
But then they would, you know, because of this new rule, they would pick up their new order full promotional.
When it goes out. Okay.
Let's see what Brenda's saying.
No,
She's saying that's what I was going to say. The founders created this new structure, and they're looking out for all of us. So, you know, because not that corporate wouldn't be looking out for us, but they're thinking through things on their end. But we had a group of founders there, national marketing directors, founders, basically saying, oh, what about this? You know, make sure. So, you know, I guess I just don't want us being stressed or worried about the changes. Change does bring a little bit of angst to all of us, but I think I really think it's gonna be good. And I think you're gonna find out it's not as big a change as what we think when we see all those numbers changing. The process is pretty much the same, and hitting those goals really haven't changed that much as far as what's being required. And so I just wanted to encourage you in that regard. And here's another example of them really trying to look out for us. Why they did that too, you know, the prices needed to be increased some. If those of you who were on, let me go back here. If you've been on Team Extreme Facebook page, you'll see that I put up a comparison, and thanks to Caitlin or Allison or both of you, had those comparisons on there of what the prices used to be, what they are today. And, you know, what they wanted to do was get the numbers so it's easy. It's easy to remember, you know, 300 for a trio, 120 for a quad. And so they wanted to make it simpler. And I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. Back to them trying to really have our back. With the new numbers changing to qualify our business, it used to be 24 trios would make us qualified. Now with the new numbers, it's actually going to be 28. And so that's a few more trios than four more trios than what we're used to. And so here's the thing that I'm seeing, that they really do have our backs, in that 2020, they're giving us a grace period. Even if we're not to 2,000 a month, that qualifying number, they're allowing us to only have to do 1,800 PVC a month, so that we have the whole year to pick up 4 more trios to be a qualified person. So it's, where we've had to add a little bit, they're giving us some grace period. And so I think that really kind of helps people realize, okay, this needed to happen. It's a growth process, but they really are trying to help us inch us over into the new compensation plan without a whole lot of heartburn on our part, if that makes sense. So I know I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I probably have just confused everybody all the more. But I will keep answering questions. I don't want to go too long, but I'm more than happy to stay on, because I know this is a lot of changes. But I can't reiterate enough, utilize these forms, because I'm telling you, they will, as you walk through them, you're going to say, oh, okay, not a whole lot has changed. I'm just not used to seeing these numbers. And these numbers are just double what we're used to seeing. It's not that it's going to be all that much harder to hit any goal. And actually, as you go beyond sales coordinator, it's actually, they've made some of those goals even easier, because they've added the new qualifying senior sales coordinator position. Some of those goals, hitting those goals, have actually been a little bit lightened the load a bit to hit those goals as you move on up the compensation. Yes, Jane.
Do you know anything about the Leeds program? I know you had to meet certain goals to stay in it. Do you know the new roles?
I've not heard them talk, and maybe I know Brenda is with her father right now. I haven't heard him talk a whole lot about it. I know if you hit qualifying sales coordinator, then you immediately begin receiving leads, which is, I think, a little sooner. I think it used to be at sales coordinator level. I do know that. I don't know quite, and I have asked that question myself, what does that, how it used to have different tiers and being in, I've not heard him talking about that. My guess is that's not going to be, I think all that probably has gone away, and I've not really.
I know I used to get leads when I fast tracked to senior sales, and then I lost it. So I just wondered, will they give it back, or have they changed those rules? So if you hear anything.
My understanding is if you fast track, when you fast track, you start getting leads. I think right here it says active, let's see, performance. I remember reading on the bottom of it was like, at this level you started getting the leads. My understanding is, as long as you stay qualified and up to national marketing director, you'll continue to get leads. But
okay, I'll call them and ask, because I haven't gotten a lead in probably a year, I guess. So
yeah, I don't
find out.
I do not know the answer of that, but actually, when I got a survey, that was one of the questions I asked myself. What's that process?
Yeah.
I will definitely get to the bottom of that for you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Clear as mud, huh? Bottom line is, it's pretty much the same. The numbers look different, but it's pretty much the same. If you just cut everything in half, it'll come back to what the old numbers were, and you're kind of like, okay, I get it. The process
Elaine?
is the same. Yes, Doc.
Can you see all of this information that you're covering on either one of the Healthy Living Revolution or the Freedom Revolution websites?
Yes, you can see it on our team website, Team Extreme. You can see it on the Freedom Revolution. You can see it on your virtual office under What's New. So there are videos you can watch. There are these worksheets. I'm like y'all. I'm just myself, literally printing them off, looking at them, and the more I go through them, I'm like, okay, there's not, the numbers look different, which can be overwhelming, but it's pretty much the same. If you just get in your mind, okay, everything, if I cut it in half, it's going to bring me back. It's just been doubled.
Revolution.
Yeah.
The Freedom Revolution.
If we send that website to a potential customer or a partner, do they need a code to get on it, or is it just open? We used to have to put Revolution or something.
I probably would not send that to a brand new person because I think it would be extremely overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I would either personally take them to the Freedom Revolution and walk through it with them. I mean, there may be some people who would love that and they would jump in.
It wouldn't be a password.
But most people are going to need you to walk through it with them. I think it'd be a little overwhelming. And that's why we did the Team Extreme and just those 4 blocks, because we really kind of shucked it down and made it a pretty simple process. And if you wanted, I don't know if you were watching any of our coaching chats where we walk through launching a brand new distributor and really trying to keep it simple and not overwhelming. What I've found in the past is if you send someone to the Freedom Revolution and say, walk through this and then I'll get back with you, you probably are going to lose them.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little too much to expect someone to do that. You'll have a few that love that, but probably most people they're going to need bite-sized pieces of it.
Right. I struggle with picking a video that I think would fit that person. I would rather have them peruse the site themselves and pick what they want, what excites them, and then get back with me. The simpler it is, the better it is. I just said goodbye to 2 doctors. I asked them if they were interested in improving their health in the new year, and I had 2 of them tell me no, they're not. And I said, well, I'm glad you're retiring. And the other one, I said, I guess I need to find a new doctor because I want to get healthier in the new year.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a short story.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
Any other thoughts or questions?
Is there a login?
All right. Everybody, no more questions, huh? All right, here's what I'm going to challenge you guys to do is literally go to, whether it be the Freedom Revolution, you can get to it from the mission-driven model, or you can go to Team Extreme Dropmark and get these forms, print them out, and just spend some time looking over them. And that way, as you bring on new people, you can go directly to that worksheet and just walk them through and explain, I'd only do 1 worksheet at a time. Let them hit that goal, go on to the next worksheet, and just work closely with them that way. And I think you'll see as you look at the forms that, okay, it's pretty much what I'm used to, just the numbers are doubled. All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. I don't want to keep y'all too long. I know this went longer than what we normally go, but we'll keep touching the base. Next Monday, we may look at sales coordinator, and I would challenge you guys to come back. Let's walk through the sales coordinator worksheet, but spend some time this week looking at the Partner Plus and the qualifying sales coordinator. And then I think when we hit sales coordinator, it'll be a lot easier because we'll kind of have it blocked in our brains. All right, thanks you guys. And then don't forget the 3 questions. We'll tackle those next week and look forward to seeing your smiling faces.
Thanks,
Bye,
Lynn.
thank
Happy New
you.
Year,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.